Hello, good day, sir. In this video, what I'll be doing is joining a, well, setting up a domain controller, and then I will be joining a client to that server. So I already went ahead and installed our server edition operating system, as well as a regular client operating system. In this case, I'm going to pick the two latest ones. I upgraded from Server 2008 to Server 2019, and as well as I installed Windows 7, which will be the client will be joining to the domain. So the first thing you want to ensure is that if you haven't done it yet, you're going to go into settings. You want to select network, and in this case I have not done it. I have to adjust these settings here. I need to switch the network adapter to a host only adapter, and you want to switch this mode from deny to allow all. This will allow other virtual machines to connect together. So I'll select that for this, and I'm going to also check the same thing for the client operating system. And as you can see in this case, I already did the settings for it. So I'm going to begin by setting up the domain controller. So we're going to start the Windows Server 2019. I'm going to skip ahead to when it finishes boots up. Right, so now I'm going to input the controls, and I'm going to type in the password. Right, so now everything is started up, but we're actually going to begin the process of setting up the domain. So we're going to go in and click on add roles and features. You can do it here, or you can also click on tools and not tools, manager, and add roles and features. And we're going to begin. So we're going to press next. So in this case, we're going to be selecting a role based or feature based installation. So we're going to select this option. I'm going to press next. And we're going to select this server pool, this server OS. And the role we're going to be selecting here is an Active Directory Domain Service. Just going to select that, and it's going to add the features for us. And I'm going to press next again. Features, in this case, we're not going to select any of these as yet. Later on, we might be selecting other features, but as of right now, we're just going basic, and we're just going to select the options that are already ticked out. So here we're going to press next, and this is what's going to be installed. So I'm just going to press install, and I'll skip ahead to when the installation is finished. Alright, so the installation is complete, so I'm now going to close this window. And then, yes, the domain server is now set. It's very odd because usually they will ask me to restart, so I'm not too sure what is going on. Okay, after restarting, I realized why it wasn't working is because I forgot to promote the server to the domain controller. So I want to enter those settings now. I apologize for that inconvenience. So we're going to select add a new forest after this is finished loading. Right, so the options available to check now. So I'm going to add a new forest. The name of the root name domain. The root domain name will be, I'm going to name it, let's name it server 2019. Click next. Oh, I forgot .com, my bad. Select next. Right, so this was very important. Usually in your network you might have more than one server, and there's chances those servers will have different editions. So for your force function level, whatever is the lowest server edition you have, you will select that option. So let's say in my case, if there was another server with the server 2008, you will select this Windows Server 2008 level. But because I'm only using one server on this network, I'm only going to select the server 2016 and 2019, but this is the latest one I have, so I'll select this one. Same thing goes for this domain. This domain is the latest one, so we select that. They're gonna ask for every store mode password, so I'm going to type in a secure password. And I'm going to press next. Now they're going to specify for this a DNS delegation. We're not going to create one, so we're just going to skip that. Press the next. So right now it's just verifying the BIOS, the net BIOS name. So let's just give it a second. So this will be the domain name. So we're going to press next. And they're going to ask for the location to store the database. And I'm comfortable with these paths or locations, so I will press next. If you wish to change it, you can always just select the three dots and then choose the location you would like to save it. I will leave these as the default and press next. So this is just to verify all the options selected. So everything is looking pretty good, so I will just press next. So this is going to validate all information, and then it was giving the option to install. And then now the server will automatically reboot. So I'll skip ahead when installation is finished. Right, so the operating system finished boot, so I'm going to input the Control-Alt-Delete. And you can see here that now we have our domain control installed. We're actually going to log in as an administrator. So we're going to enter the password. And we are going to wait until the operating system boots up. And now it's coming up. Server Manager is opening. So I'm just waiting to see this boot up because I want to see the Active Directory domain services. You will see it pop up underneath all the servers. So I'm just waiting for that to pop up, just to show confirmation that it is set up, and there it is, the Active Directory domain services with DNS. So now that that is set up, we are going to begin the connection between the server and the client. So let us begin that process. We're actually going to click on this, click on Open Internet and Open Network and Internet Settings, and we're going to select Ethernet and change adapter options. Select that. Okay, this was giving me problems earlier, so I need to do it from the control panel. So I'm select control panel, select control panel, network and internet, and I want to select network and sharing center. The same option I was down before, but this is the proper window for it. So we can change adapter settings. Right click here and select properties. Now we're going to untick IPv6. We're only going to be using IPv4. So we right click that or just regular left click it and click properties. And we're going to assign an IP address to this computer. So in this case, I'm going to name it, the IP address is going to be 192.168.0.0.1. We're going to use the default subnet mask. We're not going to use any gateway. And the preferred DNS server, we're going to use the same IP address from as this computer as the DNS server. So 168.0.1.0.1. We're going to press OK, and we're going to close here now. And the last thing we're going to do on this computer is click change advanced sharing settings, and we want to turn on under this current profile, we want to turn on network discovery. We want to turn on file and print and sharing, and then also under that we want to click all networks, and we want to turn on sharing, and anyone who has access with the network can write or read from the public folders. This will enable better sharing between the server and the client. So we're going to save changes, and now we're going to finish. We're going to leave this computer running, this virtual machine, and we're going to actually start up the client this time. We're actually going to begin the connection between the two, and we're going to join the client to the server. So let me open up Windows, and I will skip ahead to when this finish boots. Right, so I'm going to enter the password, and it should take a few minutes just to start up, so I'm not going to allow it. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is the same thing I did on the server operating system. I'm going to do the same here. And I'm actually going to go and right click here, open Network and Sharing Center, and I'm going to change adapter settings. I'm going to right click here and select properties. Same as before, untick IPv6 and select IPv4, select properties, and I'm going to assign an IP address. And this time it's going to be slightly different. 168.0, and this one will have 2 at the end. Same as before, default subnet mask, default gateway, and for the preferred DNS server, we're actually gonna put the IP address of the computer that has the server OS on it. So that IP address was 192.168.0.1. So we're going to press OK, and we're going to press close. And we go back here. We want to click back Network and Sharing Center, and the same thing, click Advanced Sharing Settings, turn on Network Discovery, turn on File and Print Sharing, and turn on Sharing so people can write and read from the public folders. Click Save Changes, and now we're supposed to have a connection between the server and the client. So to test that, I'm going to use the command driven to show a ping test between the ping test to the server. So I'm gonna type in the command ping with the DNS IP address, which is 192.168.0.1. I'm gonna press enter, and you can see here we're actually gonna reply from the server, which means we do have a connection. And if I ping for this computer, we will get a reply as well. So now that means we have a connection. So that's good. And let's come to the final stages of connecting the client to the domain. We're going to right click on computer, select properties. I'm going to come to this window. We're going to click change settings, and we're going to rename this computer, change its domain. We're going to select that. We're going to make it a member of the domain. And if you remember from before, whatever you selected as a domain name during the configuration of setting up the domain, you will type that here. In my case, mine was server 2000. Spell server wrong. Server2019.com. Now I'm going to press OK. And now we can log in as one of the users. Currently, the only user I have in this server is the administrator, but in future videos you will see I will be adding user profiles, but I haven't created any, so I'm just gonna log in as the administrator. So type in administrator with its password, and I'm going to press OK. Okay, so I entered the wrong password again, so I had to pause the video to make sure I typed it in properly. Right, so I entered the correct password, and now we are joining the server, the domain. So I'm going to press OK, and it's going to ask to restart, so I'm going to allow it. I might have to restart. Okay, yes, restart now. So I'm going to skip ahead when the restart is finished. Right, so now we're going to input the Control-Alt-Delete. And this, instead of logging in as a regular user, we're going to log in as an administrator. Right, so it's capital Windows 7 / and common Windows 7, and the password, this password here, and we'll log in as the client. And now if we go to the server, if I click on tools, and I click on active directory users and computers, select that, and if I click on the domain drop down and I click computers, you can see that my Windows 7 PC virtual machine is actually connected to the domain right now. So that concludes the end of this video, and thank you for watching.